Oh, welcome back to Wook Plus. I am Weekend Wook, joined by Kev and T. I waited to the last second to make the set list, and that motherfucker will not show up.
It didn't render.
One more time.
Didn't render.
No, I know. My computer's like, fuck you.
I tell you what, people
we could do an imaginary set list where I just tell you what's on it.
People really dig
right?
Yoko Ono.
What do they dig?
I did not realize there were like Yoko Ono stands till I tweeted about Yoko Ono.
Did that even come from? Going from the set list to Kev hijacking the show?
Because I thought he was going to be doing.
You know where? You know exactly. Wait, no, I want to see to guess where it came from.
As we talked about before Kev got in and got mad at us talking shit about him, was his skeeting, like his non-stop skeeting, and he just throws skeets out there,
and he expects everybody to know what he skeeted, and then he's like,
because that's I know
everybody's been dying to hear about my skeet.
It's a microblog.
It's not
microblog. That's what you do with a microblog.
No, it's not, because people that read read your shit, Kev, don't need to know all of that and don't need to wade through 75 of your skeets to find one that they're like, oh, this is kind of interesting.
Well, wait. Though I don't want to join in on the public flogging of Kev's microblogging. What I would like to do is that everybody watching here is not following Kev and doesn't know. So you got to give context if you're going to do a transition, Kev. That's all I'm saying, right? What are we talking about? Yoko Ono?
Yoko Ono.
I was just saying, I didn't realize she had such. I mean, more than like Donna fans. People are like,
really?
"Fuck you! Don't you talk about Yoko Ono?"
Who's like that?
Nobody's like that. You're full of shit.
Seriously, who is standing up for Yoko
I've had a couple people try to retweet me and dunk about how important she was, and I didn't like women because I didn't like her.
Yeah, it's not all the other shit you say and do.
No, but it's generally along those lines. You don't appreciate art, real art. Have you ever heard her sing "Stairway to Heaven"?
Yes, that is that. I mean, that is one thing I definitely will agree with you on. That no, that's terrible. That's a terrible take for people to. I don't want to say defend her, because I'm sure there's some things that are decent about some of her art.
You know what? I will defend his and hers decision to give all that shit up and to focus on each other and because I don't buy this shit like artists owe us anything. Like that whole thing of like, oh, you know what I mean? Like whatever your heart is telling you to do and makes you happy, you got to follow that shit. Like that I will defend, but I don't know, man. He also broke up the Beatles, so. Wait. Before we keep this going,
some people would say Linda. Some people would say Linda broke up the Beatles, but
those people would be wrong.
Well, and some people might say that achieving that level of grandeur and fame at that age that quickly is, beyond the capabilities of the human mind.
And I'll just
doing a bunch of psychedelics in India might have set him on a course to get away from it.
Every day, Dave. That's a lot.
Lennon didn't put out any albums from 76 to 80 because he couldn't keep it in his pants. And Yoko said, I'm going to leave you if you don't get it together. So he stayed at home for 3 years and was a stay-at-home dad. That's how that all worked.
Llama, I just put a link for the Dropbox in our Telegram with the set list. Can you try to upload it, the slides? It's set list with today's date. I've been trying to get that in there from the beginning before we got into these awesome conversations, but it's very difficult.
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you, Llama. I appreciate it. We got so funny. We got a producer today and no set list, and we're completely off the rails. It's right. It wasn't that great of a set list, to be honest.
That's right. It's more of a guide, like a guideline, sort of like ideas, thought starters.
So you guys don't know The Cure?
I mean, I know the band, yeah.
You don't know Tom Petty?
Sure, heard of them.
Beastie Boys, 9 Inch Nails.
I just don't see the relevance in talking about 1989 albums.
Because the article said that in all of 1989, the total number of albums released were released in the past 24 hours this year. And are there that many good albums released in the past 24 hours is the question. How many good albums have been released in the past 24 hours?
Is that every 24 hours?
Yes, every 24 hours now, there's the same number of songs that came out in 1989.
Songs or albums?
New content.
So
what Kev's saying is people make music now the same way Kev skeets. Just every fucking thing that comes to them, they put out there.
Just throw it all at the wall, see what sticks. It's a musical microblog.
It doesn't specify music as far as songs or albums. It just says more music is released in a day in 2024 than all of 1989 combined. But all right, there's a couple of things that lead to that, but one of the big things, and Lo was talking about this, is the accessibility and how easy it is to produce music now, right? Like I have a fully functional recording studio in my basement
on your phone,
has
like 16... on your phone, basically.
Well, no, I mean the software I have on my phone, but like I have 16 XLRs and 16 quarter-inch inputs onto my computer, and it actually sounds. The playing might not be professional, but the recording quality sounds just as good as like those 89 studios, right? And so any asshole can make an album, and every asshole does, you know. But I think that's not to say there's not great great music these days.
I don't think in all the 24 hours this whole year there was one album that was equal to any of those that I was listening. The Tom Petty's, the Janet Jacksons,
and that's because that was your peak. It's honest, like right. Like I'm not making fun of you, but everybody looks at their like youth or when they're in their like 20s. That's like when the best music was. Do you even know
I'm not saying that. But I don't feel like I'm saying that at all. I'm just saying the quality was less, the quantity was less, but the quality was infinitely better.
How could you even possibly say that?
Because having not listened to 99% of the songs that came out this year, I could tell you that there was no Full Moon Fever released this year.
Name an album that you listened to that came out this year. What came out this year that you are comparing it to?
Well, I mean, I could say, well, I don't know if the Disco Biscuits album came out this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Tom Petty had a better album than the Disco Biscuits. So I guess all modern music fucking sucks.
But that's part of the thing. I can't even think of an album off the top of my head that I've listened to this year that I was like, my God,
that's my point. But there are kids out there that are into the music scene right now that are listening to some fucking pop fusion K-pop-y, you know, whatever, and they fucking love it. And in 20 years, oh shit, what is it, 40 years now? They're going to be like, oh man, 40 years ago, they had so much better music than they do now. By the way, get off my lawn.
Kev sounds a lot like Skoy these days, with Skoy and his anti-ham bans, and nobody listens to anything good except for what I listen to.
I'm just saying that maybe people need a filter. My whole problem with Trey's lyrics when he writes by himself, I think sometimes people need someone else to sit them down and say, maybe you should do this. I was talking with my kid about Dylan today and how he left off Up to Me off of Blood on the Tracks, but included Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. What the hell were you thinking, Bob Dylan? One of your greatest songs you ever wrote, you just left on the cutting room floor for a mid-tune about gamblers. I mean, you know,
some people can't handle edits or notes, as we used to call it. So I'm just saying, you say everybody.
Well, I would say to that note too, Kev. Why don't you start sending me all your skeets before you send them out, and I will give you.
But that's a whole different thing than releasing. If I was going to release a song, I'd say, hey, I wrote this song. Will you guys listen to it and tell me if you think it's okay?
Well,
I know, and then I give you a note. And then you get mad at me and release it anyway.
Look at that. What was his name? Marco Rebelit, who blew up during COVID doing the songs in his bathrobe, like the techno shit in his bathrobe.
Kind of awkward now, right?
Kind of, yeah, but he's still around.
Do you guys feel awkward watching that now? It's like I never like loved it, but I remember when he popped up, I got it. I was like, oh, this is fun and quirky and energetic. And now that we've kind of like moved on, it's kind of like, all right, dude, like you can move on now.
right. No, totally, exactly, and that's what I mean. Like it's I don't know, and I think too, Kev. I think something is that somebody told me a long time ago is that like looking back on things, it always seems better than it was at the time. Like in 1989, necessarily, you might not have thought all those albums were fantastic and great, and now you look back on them with nostalgia, and you're like, oh, well, today's music sucks, but back then, this was great.
I mean, Paul's Boutique, come on. The first time anybody puts on Paul's Boutique, they're like, my God, this is a masterpiece. How did these guys do this?
Meh. I love the Beastie Boys, but that, I don't know.
You want me to just start listing topics and we can just talk about it? You don't need to follow along on a set list.
Why don't you just put them as a banner on the bottom and you can run them across as a banner?
Banner.
Oh.
Like Bruce Banner.
Oh. See. Yeah, give me a second. I can do that.
I did talk about that. By the way, Ryan, did you see that our good friend of the show, Dave Harrington from Taper's Choice, his other band, Dark Side, is playing Saturday of Coachella, which is very exciting. The night Green Day is headlining. I kind of like the fall back into some rock and roll there, too, that they're doing. I liked the lineup.
Fall back into rock and roll.
Yeah, it's not all poppy and it's not all crazy.
Isn't a face plant into rock?
No, not really. It's just cool that they're getting back to some going? Earlier
Are you
things.
Planning on going?
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out.
Right. When is Taper's Choice?
What's that?
When is Taper's Choice?
January, February.
All right. I was going to come hang out with you in between Thanksgiving and Christmas so you weren't by yourself.
I know.
We can go just hang out at. Are there cheap bars? Are there any cheap bars in LA we can hang out at?
Of course. Sure.
Some dive bars somewhere.
There's some good dive bars.
It's LA cheap.
It's LA cheap.
It's not right. Middle of nowhere Maryland cheap.
That's like the airport in Oklahoma is LA cheap.
Right. Exactly. And we'll get a couple 40s of Mad Dog and hang out on my couch.
There you go. Some OE.
All right, so this is the set list I came up with 5 minutes before the show and did not get published correctly. I wanted to remind everybody next week we have Wook's Giving on Wednesday. It is basically a live stream at 9:00, like we always do, but instead of a normal live, it'll be a Wook's Giving live. And we'll have more information coming out, but I think we're going to try to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles on the Discord. And I think we'll have a member stream on Wednesday also. So look for that. That'll be a lot of fun.
Can we watch your audition tape?
My audition?
Yeah, can we watch your audition tape?
Who?
Yours.
For what?
For Primus.
Oh, he set that. See, Kev works better with the set list. He needs the set list. Fuck, man. If I were 8 years younger, I think 8 years is when I got burnt out. But if I were 8 years younger, I would 100% be sending in a tape, even though I have zero chance. That's cool, though. I love this. Feels like it's something out of like a movie or something. Like
Smashing Pumpkins did it for a guitar player earlier this year.
Really?
Yeah, and they hired
some guy. Chili Peppers found John Frusciante.
Oh, really? People do this shit?
I think it's great. It's very much like that the Mark Wahlberg movie, The Rock.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, like it's very much like that. Like just find like the guy that sings your covers really well or whatever.
Or the Journey,
like, hey.
the guy who sings for Journey now.
Journey.
He was in a fucking karaoke band or whatever
totally.
It was.
Exactly.
Those guys, the two like real Journey guys, don't even talk to each other. They tour, but they're in court fighting each other, so they don't even talk to each other. They walk out on stage, play their hour and a half, and that's it.
That's it. They play with such hate that it sounds good.
That's like us, right?
Right. Exactly.
I was trying to think of a Journey song off the top of my
Just
head.
pretend to be friends. Do you think Ben is gonna send a tape? He probably wouldn't tell anybody, but like, he's thinking about it, right?
No,
that'd be amazing.
You know who should do it? Is Stanton Moore.
Stan Moore, yeah, but Stan Moore wouldn't need to send something in. I think he would just need to let somebody know
that he was interested. Right.
Like he has more than enough.
Have you ever heard him? Stanton Moore played with Corrosion of Conformity on one of their albums, which are a hardcore punk band from the 80s that I guess are still kicking around, or they were 10 years ago. But he apparently played drums on the album for him. So
he has a whole series of like training videos and shit, like practice videos. And so like I haven't like taken lessons directly with them, but I've taken his, like I've played along to and shit. He so like obviously the NOLA, like the Louisiana stuff is like his bread and butter, but he can play pretty much anything. Fucking good drummer.
Yes, Corrosion of Conformity were huge. Ween.
And the Onion. Let's see, could you take it seriously if it was in the Onion? Oh, AV, yeah.
Shout out to the Onion for buying InfoWars.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think we're hitting up the MSG. I may if I stumble upon something, but
I think I'm going to go. I'm going to try to go up the 28th like I always do, because it's right before all the madness. You don't have every noodlehead in the world coming. I don't know what day of the week it is this year, though. If it's like a Saturday, then you still have the same madness.
We could look that up.
I am going to look it up. The 28th is a Saturday. Thank you very much.
Saturday,
yeah. There you go. Saturday,
because everybody
Sunday,
can
Monday,
fly
Tuesday.
in on Friday and see the Saturday show. But if it's on like a Thursday, people don't fly until Friday and they'll just see the last three.
Well, one thing I can say we'll be doing is 15 minutes after Encore each night, right here on the YouTube channel. We'll be doing the recaps, the After PHiSH after show, and set breaks for members.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So I don't know if you guys saw the lineup for All Good Now, which is a very personally like ironic name for the festival, because it's like, I don't know, man.
Can I
like
pitch
Kev
something?
With everything's right.
Since I had nothing to do with you bringing this up, can I pitch something?
Yeah, I don't care.
On Friday, I'm going to be talking to Tim Walther. His manager reached out to me and asked if he'd come on All That Jam and talk about the festival. So,
All Good Now?
Yes. I've known Tim since before he was All Good. I can remember him telling us, I'm going to be a promoter one day.
Who?
Tim Walther. The guy who's All Good.
No, who did he tell?
He was telling us at Wilmer's Park at one of these, it was called like the Back to School Boogie. And it was the Jello Boys and a couple other local bands. And you
can't. The Royal Us, like not us included.
I'm like, is Kev like Gollum all of a sudden? He's like,
he's telling us.
Are you referring to yourself as us, or you mean like us?
Well, the
as
people I was
us,
with, I'm referring to us as me and Tom Wardell and Red Leo and the other people.
All these people that we don't know and weren't with.
Right.
Am I the only one that's confused?
Anyway, it's very interesting that they've moved from. I mean, originally it was Wilmer's Park, then it was the mountaintop, and it was a huge camp out. Then they moved to the thing. It was called the 2828 Festival. That was at a ski resort, so you rented rooms, but it was still at the summer and it was overnight. This thing is going to be 2 days, but you're going to have to go find somewhere to stay in between, like a hotel, like you would a regular concert.
Yeah, and it's at multiple venues, isn't it?
Well, there's some pre-shows.
Like the main one is at MPP, but I thought that their other they have like
Sam Brisman Project is playing the night before somewhere, and a few other
What's crazy to me, and I don't know why this surprises me, but it is weird seeing Goose in the alpha spot. Like I knew they were, like I know obviously like they've ascended there, but like to see them hop over J-Red and String Cheese and all that shit on the actual lineup is like you know, because like they're not just the headline of like a bunch of no names like Pigeons, Disco, String Cheese, J Rad. Like there's a lot of good bands there.
Goose is only playing one night though. Like
Yeah,
one night String
doesn't
Cheese
matter.
will
They're still the
headline or something,
headliner.
and right.
Like they are the one spot. They're at the very top of the list.
But it's 2 nights. It's 2 days. They aren't going to headline both days with that many bands. They're only going to headline one of the two.
I'm talking about the festival headliner, like the top of the ticket.
Right.
The top of the ticket.
But they aren't going to play both nights, is all I said.
I know, but that's not what I said. That's not my point.
That's the point.
Brutal. I feel like I'm pulling teeth with you tonight.
Oh, yeah?
But I see your point, Tim. To that point, that's a good topic. Is like it is kind of odd to see them as the large font above everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe everybody else is like cool with it and has already become accustomed to it. And like, I mean, I'm cool with it. I don't give a fuck. But like, when I saw the thing in my email, right? Because Ticketmaster or whatever, they always send me all these fucking lineups. I was like, that's weird. Like, it struck me as like, I don't know. I didn't expect to see Goose at the top of the ticket. And by the way, they're not playing both nights, so they're not headlining both nights.
Look at the names. Who would you put at the top?
Well, I don't know if like in such a thing you need a top. I feel like it's sort of like everyone just is like
co-headliners,
you know.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of feel like,
but because they're the hot shit right now and have the most fan base going and everything, I think, you know, you'd put they've earned that spot. But to Tim's point, they definitely have leapfrogged over some people that have been going at it for a long time. And
I feel like every festival announcement I've seen in the past 2 weeks has had String Cheese in it.
Yeah, they always said all of them.
I'm just like, String Cheese, and they're the big name on a lot of them. They're doing the cave
they're
thing.
Always like the third or fourth. I guess my point, Kev, is not that I expected the other bands to be ahead of them. It's that I'm still stuck in the past where like this role on these like mid-level festivals would be like Humphreys or Mo or whatever in the past, right? Or Tab, not Phish. Like Phish obviously would be the big festival, but like Tab or something. And to see them now as like they're in the head spot, it's like
the ascendant.
I don't know what I'm fucking saying. I haven't thought this through. I put the set list together 5 minutes.
I'm amazed. I mean that you know, there's talk. Oh, they're going to be playing Madison Square Garden before you know it, and I'm like,
well, who's that talk to? Let's just be fair. It's their number one stan.
Well, it's the whole community, but I feel like it's like any rumor mill. There's got to be some truth to it.
Well, of course they will. I mean, it would be the logical next step, as we've talked about. Like that would seem like where they would go next. But you know,
I just you know, I think of them now because they're kind of far away from me as like a Dave Matthews thing. Like they're huge and people go see them, but I don't know those people. Really?
Yeah, but you do know the people that go see Goose.
Right. Do people say they go see Goose? Like you don't hear people say I'm going to see Dave Matthews. They're just kind of quiet about it and they just go do it. And
no, that's not true. In our community, like especially on like Phish Blue Sky or Phish Twitter or whatever the tribe, you don't hear. But like I have tons of friends in college that were huge Dave Matthews fans. And like now, like I was talking to my buddy the other day that was talking about Dave. Like I feel like they're like, you know, coworkers and shit. It's not jam band fans that are bragging about seeing Dave, but there's a whole slew of just Dave fans. I see that fucking dancing naked woman iconography, whatever that is. I see that on cars constantly, like fucking everywhere. You know what I'm talking about?
I do not know of dancing naked women.
The dancing, his little dancing symbol thing. That's like, yeah.
I mean, I literally see that more than I see Phish stickers.
That looks exactly like Blue Miracle. Blue Miracle has something exactly like that. It's weird. I had in
Dave is deep in the Venn diagram.
But I don't know. So what is the rumor about MSG? Because I don't know that is a given at this point. I mean, it feels like their trajectory is starting to flatten out, right? Like I saw not great ticket sales, and they were struggling outside of like their main area.
Well, but New York City is their base now, kind of. They're going to work it, Connecticut. They're from Connecticut. New York City's, Connecticut's what, a suburb of New York, basically.
Yeah,
well, right. And if you don't,
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be announced for 2025.
Right, but if you don't play a ton of shows around that area and you just play MSG for like a few nights
and you hype it, you're like,
right,
it's our first time at MSG, and
it's the only show we're playing for the next 4 months or whatever it is, and the next ones will be out west or in Colorado or something, then you get that whole East Coast crew that's like, oh well, let's all go to MSG for that show or whatever, and that's how you can promote it and do that. But I think to that point, Tim, yes, there are spread out areas where they don't do so well or necessarily sell out, have that big of a following.
What do you think of the widespread model? They're playing Wisconsin and they're playing somewhere else, 3 shows, Toronto 1 show, and then 3 shows the next weekend somewhere else, with 1 show in between, which is kind of like what widespread would do. One city, 3 shows, another city, 3 shows. We don't play.
Why is that the widespread model? Like every band,
because I noticed widespread doing it like 3 or 4 years ago, and so in my head I call it the widespread model.
I feel like there's a lot of bands that do that though. All right, but that's fair. I'm kind of over MSG, and that's probably not the right thing to say as like a Phish fan in a head.
No, I think, Tim, I think that's a great thing to say, because we talked about it before, and it's something that like grates me, is in this era of, oh, Elon Musk sucks and let's all leave Twitter, but let's all go to MSG because Jimmy Dolan is such, like, it's the same thing to me. Like, you can't,
Jimmy Dolan.
I hate that guy. I can't stand that guy, and supporting him and bands supporting him by playing his venues like the Sphere and MSG drives me crazy. So I am personally kind of on an MSG boycott lately, and I refuse to, like, just like everybody bailing on Twitter because Elon sucks.
No. Hold on. I'm not defending any of these people. And yeah, fuck MSG Entertainment, but they're not just bailing on Twitter because Elon sucks. They're bailing, or at least I bail on Twitter because it is a propaganda machine for a regime. And
it's the same.
But like MSG is not being used as a propaganda machine. It's just
he let Trump use it for free. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, that's a venue, though. I feel like that's way different.
Oh, somebody I'm like in France.
I don't even want to keep talking about it, but that just annoyed me.
I love that, Kev. Do you know how to play that thing well?
Oh,
even just playing it shitty though sounds good. Like,
I bought it for my kid at the Cracker Barrel on the way to Ocean City one year.
He's gonna make it sound like I give a shit about any of that, and that wasn't my point. My point is that New York is expensive as fuck, and every time I go there, I've gotten sick as shit. Right, and yes. I just would love to have like a fucking less expensive, easier venue to go see New Year's at.
And Chuck, I will say I am boycotting the Sphere now too. Like, I totally am. Like, go ahead. I don't care. Like, it drives me crazy. That guy, like, the whole fucking regime, everything about it sucks. So yes.
Regime.
I love being connected. I don't know.
I could see administration.
They are so weird to play. I agree.
They are, Shermith.
It's like the harmonica. Kev, can you play the harmonica and an accordion at the same time?
I don't know where the harmonica is.
I feel like Kev made it weird.
Oh, Tambourine Man.
I'm just going to sit here in silence now, Kev.
That's okay.
I like, Kev, you have like a grab bag of things on that shelf next to you. You never know what you're going to pull off of that thing.
Oh, yeah, I got tons of stuff around me.
Tons.
All my stuff.
Tons of fun with Kev.
Did you guys hear the latest rumors?
What, Phish?
West Coast?
What's that?
West Coast run?
West Coast. Hollywood Bowl, maybe getting
Seattle.
Yeah.
Which will probably all lead to the Sphere, right?
Yeah.
All roads lead to the Sphere. Fuck Jimmy
we already
Dolan.
shows at the Sphere, so
no gorge pie. Hey, that's a good point, Sherman. Maybe there will be a gorge show. There should be a gorge show next year. They haven't played there in a minute, so it'd be nice to see them back there.
You know what I think? I think when they do a West Coast run, I end up staying up till like 4 a.m.
You know what you should do, Tim? You should plant the seed now with the wife that you guys should come out and go to like Disneyland and do a little West Coast run.
I'm still paying off our Disney trip from like 2 years ago. Are you kidding me? Disney's fucking expensive now. Holy shit.
It is.
It is. I will tell you though, I got a season pass thing and it makes all the difference. We just went yesterday and it was so
but
fun.
You live fucking
but
like right
didn't
there.
They bump the price up again?
They did. They raised it $100 for next year.
I mean, estimate the profit.
Oh, hey, they're rolling in the dough. Are you kidding? Like, it blows my mind about how many people are there every time I go, even like now, because it's like the holidays. But I will say this, I will defend it with one thing, and that is like in an era of zero customer service and things sucking, it is the one place where
kiss your ass.
They are the customer service and the attention to detail and them caring about you having a good time is top notch. And I appreciate that so much because so many other things are like, yeah, fuck off, tough, go deal with it yourself. And they're like, oh no, let us fix it for you. Let us take care of it. Let us, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride broke down yesterday while we were on it. The dude gave us all like 3 multi-use lightning lane passes, which meant we could just like, cut the line and shit for free. And he was just like, sorry about that. And then we still ended up getting to ride the ride. It was like awesome. I was like, this is why Disney rules. They care. Like, yes, it costs an arm and a leg, but they care. So
we went up to a line. We waited and went up online to a ride, and Evie was too short by like half an inch. So instead of just saying, oh, you're too short, kid, fuck off, they gave us and her a lightning pass to another ride nearby that was shorter. So instead of being like disappointed, we got to run right onto a ride. You know what I mean? It's like a little thing like that. It doesn't cost them anything, but like
it's great.
You didn't
just
buy
made her
shoes?
day rather than having a crying kid,
Right.
My Cayenne was like a half-inch too short to get on to Space Mountain. And we found that out the first day. That night I went and bought her high-heeled sneakers. And the next day she was high and tall enough to get in. And that thing fucked her up, bouncing her around because she should not have been.
No shit.
Well, Kev, it's a rule for a reason. Like, she squeezes.
She wanted
through
to,
the
and I
bar.
was like, I'll go buy you shoes. I will get you on that ride.
And then she's like, we probably shouldn't have done that, Dad. That was a mistake. Father of the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's amazing. But yeah, Tim, to that point, it's incredible. Like, I always have this saying that nobody has a bad day at Disney because they make everything right. Like, they try so hard to make sure you are taken care of.
One time I got hammered at the pool. That was Florida? A rough day.
I don't know how people do that. You see people fucked up at like Epcot shit, but in Florida, it was like 100 degrees out, like 700% humidity.
Boy, and they had some
I'm literally pounding waters and it's coming out fast and it's going in. I'm like, how the fuck are people getting wasted?
Yeah,
in that kind of weather.
I just have a problem. I mean, like, yeah, in California Adventure, you can drink, like they have bars and stuff. And I just look at everybody doing that and then going on rides, and I'm like, man, that's the last thing
I know. Well,
I wasn't getting on rides,
but like that's the last thing I could be doing right now. Like, no.
Or the people not getting on rides that spent all that money to go into a theme park just to sit at a bar.
Drink.
Well, there's like the water park one. There's the water theme park down in Florida, and when we had like a week down there, and we could go to each park whenever we wanted. And one day we went to the water park. They went and water parked all day. I hung out and drank.
Oh no, that's like back at the pool. Fuck yeah.
Hey, Cassidy, can they get me in? My goal is to someday get into Club 33. I've always wanted to go in there. It's so secretive. And everyone that goes always says it's like no big deal, whatever. But I want to go in. I want to hang out in there. It looks so cool. And just be one of those people that get to go know the secret handshake and like get to go into the place. It looks sweet. And
I feel like I want to go.
Or rats. They let cats out real quick. They let cats out at night to kill all the mice and the rats. So you never see any of that stuff in the park either. Like, Disney is so. And also, one other quick thing, they're parking.
They get the cats back?
Like, you go into like
it's the Club 33, the thing the guy paid all that money and he was suing to get back in because they kicked him out or something.
Yeah. And I will say, for those people that like, if you go to the mall during Christmas and deal with parking structures, the parking at Disney is so money. Like they have that shit figured out to a T. You never wait. You never are waiting for people to like pull in or pull out. Like the efficiency is at next level. Like, I don't know. Whoever runs the parking structures probably run the government because it is like next level efficient. It's amazing. It's incredible. Anyway, enough bragging about Disney because I know there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sad part is I feel all those things, but I'm too poor to fucking go there. And all right, I'm gonna bitch for 1 second, then I'm gonna let Kev talk and cheer everybody up. But the irony of it too, for me, is like this age with little kids is when money's the tightest, right? Because fucking kids are super expensive, and that's when it's the most important time. So I feel like next time I'll be able to afford to go, they're not gonna want to fucking go anymore, and I'm gonna be like. Fuck.
Yeah, if you wait till the little one's like 4 and the older one's like 9 or something, it'll be fantastic, and that'll give you 3 years to save up.
Yeah, 2 years to pay off debt and 1 year to
save.
1
year to save, and then get back in debt.
Get back in debt.
Either that, or you could get yourself a side gig. I could see you like doing Uber Eats or something.
Why? Because I have a car.
You have a car. You got a car. You got a job.
This is my side gig. Oh, by the way, like, subscribe, and if you haven't become a member yet,
sign up so Tim can take the kids to Disneyland.
Yeah. What else is going on? All right, Kev, I don't know how to set this up. I don't fully understand what you... Oh, we already talked about 1989.
Yeah, we already talked about 1989.
Is there anything else you want to say about 1989? You remember that year? Was it a good year for you?
I know. I just feel like the larger question is there ever going to be able to be an album that's universally embraced like there was back then now, because there's so much? You used to have a very limited choice. You were either bought the Judas Priest or the AC/DC album. Now you have 97 different bands you can choose from.
I think, again, it takes time, though. I don't think anything that comes out is always necessarily thought as spectacular when it comes out. I think 10 years down the road, people might look back at now and be like, oh, look at these 3 great albums that came out in 2024. Like, who knew they were going to be that good?
Okay, so let's go 10 years back. What is the great album from 2014 that is a classic that you just cannot live without?
That's 2013, right? 2014. Kev, you know what my honest take on it is, and this might be terrible. I think you may be right. I'm not conceding that you are right, but you may be right on a macro level where like the groupthink societal embrace of an artist may or may not happen at that level. Although I feel like Taylor Swift is doing that and we're just not in tune to it. But what I do think is still there and what gets forgotten in these like back in my day conversations is that the individual's personal connection to these artists is still there. And it might be a much smaller global thing. And it might not be everyone listening to the same radio station or watching MTV, but an individual's connection to an artist and a song. Like there is a teenager somewhere right now connecting to an album the same way you connected to an album when you were a teenager.
But
it might not be as widespread, but there's still that. I feel like there's a connection with music that doesn't, society and like popularity and all that shit has nothing to do with it. It's just this like, thanks, Chad. It's just like an inherent passion with music that, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's still that individual connection.
But there's something lost in the communal connection of everybody's going to see Kiss.
I think there's too much
or
communal
whatever
connection. I think that's the fucking problem. I think everybody needs to focus on their own personal lives. You're talking about communal now, like then, but that was just people dictating what it was. Like, I feel like
I was going to say that too. Like Taylor Swift had 1989 come out in 2014. I was waiting to jump in on that. Good job, Jace. Nice.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm sorry, Gib. That's just my perspective.
No, I just it just makes me think back to the Grateful Dead and what the attraction, I feel like, for a lot of people was, as much as the music and the musicianship was the going. and we're all going to do this. Your phone lit up when, somebody saw in the newspaper tickets were going to go on sale. You didn't have the internet and all that. And it just fostered, I feel like, a deeper connection of the community.
Though.
Huh?
That's still a thing, though. It's just other communities that you're not a part of. The girl down the street, right? She's always at the bus stop when she's older. She's like a middle schooler, high school, or whatever. She's into like punk music, right? But like newer punk. And she's talking about, oh, these tickets are going on sale and all my friends are going. And you know what I mean? It's they're different bands, but like, and again, what I was saying is it might be smaller. It might not be everybody doing the same tour and band, but there are still, I mean, that's why Goose is popular. It's certainly not their fucking playing or singing. It's the experience that everybody wants to go on tour and see a band.
If you guys
thing is what's working for them.
You guys should think of some questions because we're coming up quick on Q&A and we got a big block of time to fill.
Wait, you and I can't argue about this for another 20 minutes?
I'm sure we could. But I feel like a lot of what we're saying, we're coming from the same place. We're just maybe looking at it different.
I don't even think we're looking at it different. I think we agree. Maybe.
I
don't even know what the fuck you're saying. What are you saying?
I'm just saying that it's like my issue with CDs. My problem with when all of a sudden people did CDs, instead of having to write 30 minutes, 35 minutes worth of great music and putting out a fantastic album, all of a sudden you had 70 minutes. So people started releasing 30 minutes worth of drivel to fill up the space of the CD, and it ruined a lot of albums. CDs that came out that would have been great albums if you had to cut the fat away.
That's what you were saying?
Well, I'm just saying sometimes too much is sometimes less is more.
Right, like Book Plus Live probably should have been a half-hour show, but we just dribble at the end to fill up the hour.
That point earlier, though, Kev, then that's why Dylan cut that song off the album.
Right. Well, Dylan needs somebody to like look over his shoulder. Garcia's version of the Dylan and Dead album was fantastic. Hey. Okay.
You were breaking up there for a second. What?
Say it again.
Oh, I'm back. All right. Jerry did a version of the Dylan and the Dead album with all the best versions of the songs from that tour in 87, right? And Dylan was like, nah, I'm not into that, and put out all the worst versions. And it was like been universally panned as like one of the worst things in the Dead's catalog. And it's because Dylan didn't let Jerry pick the tunes.
Yeah.
We should give a shout out. Fuck. My brain just went dead. No. I'll think of it later. Or maybe I won't.
Forrest? Were you going to give a shout out to Forrest?
Oh, no, but yes, we should do that also because that's the thumbnail and that would be awkward. Somebody mentioned the first comment on the video was like, you didn't tag Forrest, and that's the fucking thumbnail. Yeah.
So Forrest, I guess, friended on Facebook at some point when it first started many, many years ago, 15 years ago, whatever.
You?
And he was part of the Fuck Brad movement. And always he'd like send me messages, I guess you want a link, and he would always mess with you like that. So he was fun. And he also like curated his dad's. He was Lowell George's son, and he curated his dad's legacy, did a whole radio show on the Homegrown Network. He was a really cool guy and cleaned himself up, had a few good years, and then got the cancer. And cancer does what cancer does.
That's true.
That sucks.
But shout out to him. He's a great guy, and he's with his dad, which I think he really knew his dad. His sister, Anara George, I think was so young when he died. She was like 1 or 2 years old, so she never knew Lowell. But I think he was like 10 or 11 when he died. So it was like, even beyond who he was, that's my dad. It's gone, Yep. Yeah, there's a bad storm here. But I guess Mike Screven is just
blowing away.
Mike Screven is just up the road from us. So you got some questions, people? What you got?
Oh, I was gonna plug to the Discord. I think we've been getting a lot of new folks in there, and it's been fun. We've been talking, we're live streaming, watching shit. The link is in the description, so you guys should come hang out with us.
Discord's gonna be huge.
I don't know if we have any questions. Oh.
So okay, I guess. What are you guys doing? You guys aren't coming for New Year's to MSG? Do you have any other plans, or is it just hanging out at home this year? That's what I always do. I'm a huge fan of. I'm not going out on Knucklehead night on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, if I'm not usually going to the show, then it's like there's not really, unless there's some, other concert or something like that to go to or something. Otherwise, yeah, no, it's just a very like chill.
Not going to the local bar for free champagne at midnight.
No, haven't done that in a while. Definitely not.
No, I mean, I got the little ones, so we'll be home.
Do you think?
But
Edie
also,
can make it? Will Evie make it to New Year's?
She's gonna watch this in a couple of years and be like, "Fuck you, Dad." But we just at like 9 o'clock or at like 10 o'clock, we just tell her it's midnight, and we like bang the pans and drop some balloons and shit, right. And we like play Old Lang Syne. Yeah, and she's fucking happy, and then she goes lay down, and the next day she's like, "Oh, it's so fun! I got to stay up late." Because she doesn't really know how to tell time.
For a few years running, my youngest would make it like till a half hour before and fall asleep on the couch. And I'd be like, "Oh, baby, I almost made it. Next year you'll make it."
See, that's why you need like the West Coast is nice because we see the East Coast feed, then you see like the mid feed.
9 o'clock, you could be done.
Right. You're like, yay, 9 o'clock. All right, sweet. Good night.
Oh, that's fun. I like that. No, and actually that's what I was gonna say, what my plan is, and not to sound corny, but I actually like genuinely look forward to the after show and the couch tour, and like I'm really looking forward to listening to new Phish. Like it, we do the Wook Club or whatever, and I listen to listening to new music and doing the after show is one of the things I enjoy the most. So
we did the Wook Club. It had a good run.
I told you before Kev showed up that he was going to be all pissy and passive aggressive and shit.
I'm not at all, because we
you are. You can still do it. Do the fucking Wook Club.
I know I don't think that there was any clamoring from any three of us, but we had talked about doing it.
People were asking for it on the Discord. People want it. I respectfully said, "Hey, I'm fucking burnt out. I just spent 10 weeks canvassing for somebody that got their ass kicked, and I want to take a fucking break. Maybe you could like run the show for a little bit." And you're like, "Oh, Wook's gonna quit on us. He doesn't want to fucking do anything. I'm going to be passive aggressive."
When was the election?
For the next 3 days.
When was the election?
I'm sorry. I can't control these things. It happens how it happens.
Like 2 weeks ago?
I've been fucking doing this.
So we've only missed 2 then.
You've only missed 2. Break for a couple weeks.
We've only missed 2 weeks if it was only 2 weeks ago. So that's only 2 shows. So, I mean, the end of the year is always difficult to get shit together. So,
And when we do it, he bitches constantly. "Oh, I have to listen to another show." And then when we don't do it, like, I can't believe we're not doing this shit.
Right? Yeah, Savvy. You know who's starting those rumors? Me. So yes, I can tell you that is exactly what I'm hearing and what it's going to be. And
I was trying to just figure out if it was any way possible to stream towards Discord. I was just thinking out loud, kind of.
Oh yeah, did you see all the follow-up?
Yeah, I did.
Like, I don't think we want to do that. And everybody was like, "Yeah, fuck you, Kev." But then they're like, "We should do Kev Cam." Kev Cam would be awesome. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Just watch him walking around his house.
The fucking Truman Show. That's
the reality show of Kev.
They do that shit, like streamers and shit, like subathons where they're like stream for 24 hours. We'll do that, but it'll just be Kev and whatever he's doing for the day.
Can we talk about country music.
Why?
The CMAs are one right now.
I got so excited. I was like, "Oh, Kev has a new topic."
I can see it like out of the corner of my eye, and every time I look over, it's some dude rapping. It's the CMAs.
Isn't Peyton Manning hosting that?
Or whatever his name is, Jelly Roll or whatever. What's his name? Jelly something.
Mr. Music Man doesn't know Jelly Roll's name. Come on, dude.
And now there's some dude with like Bob Weir cutoffs, but they're white. They're white jean cutoffs. Dude, that's not a look. That is just, I don't know. Who told you in Florida that was a look? But
hey, Savvy, jump in the Discord and I'll break it down. We'll talk about it. Get in the Tabor's Choice Discord and we'll talk later about some of the what's going on with it.
Are we going to be able to stream them or what?
We hope so. Hey, that's we're still trying to figure it out. I gotta get permission from them and probably permission from Nugs. Now, Llama was telling me earlier that the shows that are on Nugs now have been pulled off of archive, which kind of sucks. So Nugs is already, and we were saying that now they're on
Nugs owns them already.
Right, and Nugs is probably going to at least do the audio streams for some of those shows, so we probably won't even be able to do.
What about the ones we already have up?
Ours are staying up. Nugs can pull them out of my cold dead hand.
I tell you, there's another theory
We're gonna have to bring back Fuck Brad again.
Yes, we are. There's no way they're taking our videos down.
That's the way to get out of a slump. Kev's like, "Oh, it's been 2 weeks. Why don't you film?" I was like, "What would make me? You know what would make it work? A fucking Fuck Brad battle. You gotta start a new fight.
That's it.
You need to take that down because we didn't use their feed. We did not use their audio.
Right. I think the plan, I mean, just spitballing. I talked to Alex about this a little bit. We're trying to see if maybe we can get some of those put up on Nugs, but I don't know if they'd make them take them off of Wook Plus. I was like, well, I don't want to lose them off of Wook Plus because that's kind of our thing. So we're trying to figure it out and see what they'll stream. But I mean, it sucks that like I wouldn't be able to Mixler the shows anymore because Nugs would like pull the Mixler streams for that shit like they do with PHiSH. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Llama and I were talking about this earlier. It's cool to see them growing, but then it also kind of sucks to see them growing because you're like, yay, they're getting big. That's what we want to see. But then at the same time, you're like, oh, but then there's all this other shit that goes along with it. So, but we'll see.
You're gonna work merch with them again?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I need to talk to Alex again about getting some merch in stock because if you go to the website, everything's kind of low right now. So we'll see, which is good too. Like everything's sold out, and like the last shows I worked at, we sold a ton of merch. So we got to get some new shit in. So we'll see. I hope. Fingers crossed. So.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody just wants to cut you out, push you to the side, consolidate.
That's life, man. Life is just one swift kick in the nuts after another. So
you guys are so happy and cheery. I used to look to Wednesday night as like, oh, I had a crappy day, but at least I'm gonna get to hang out with my buddies, my good friends, and feel good about it. And now you're like, man, this fucking sucks. Music.
Well, I think the problem is back then we were all happy go lucky. Our lives were in decent shape. Now all of our lives suck ass. At least mine does. So it's like, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot to be grateful for too. I don't want to be,
There you go.
Yeah.
See, so that's good. You're the one that needs to bring the positivity to the show now, while the rest of us are the doom.
I think I did that today. That was my job. Was the shit on Kev so everybody could laugh.
I feel like I'm always in a good mood.
Really? That's your self-assessment?
Yeah, so it is. I feel like I always, when the lights go on, we come on and we have fun.
Yeah,
we're like Journey.
We're all in court. Yeah.
We channel that energy into greatness of the show.
Journey still touring. God help him.
Let's plan something out live because I didn't get a chance to ask you guys. I was thinking about doing on Wednesday a member stream either before or after the Wook's Giving. Do you think one works better than the other from like either for you guys or also like
show or a post show?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You should have done a quiz.
Wednesday?
Oh, I could do a quiz.
A poll.
Yeah, poll. I know what you meant.
I got a poll for you.
Oh man, my computer's all
Remember that
fucked
one?
up.
Oh man.
What are we gonna do? Wait, are we doing anything on Thursday? I thought Thursday we were doing like a member stream for the actual day instead of doing Wook's Giving on that day, like
What?
we'd done before. Isn't that what we were doing? I don't know. I'm lost. Or are we just watching the movie?
I have to go to a friend's giving on Saturday. Have
On
you ever
Saturday?
done these things?
What's on Saturday? A couple days later? Is it leftovers or is it
no
fresh
before this coming Saturday?
Oh, this coming
yeah,
Saturday.
I've done Friendsgivings before.
Now, did you feel like you were friends with the people?
I would
Is
hope.
this a true question
for Friendsgiving? Yes.
Yes.
These are all people I went to high school with, and like maybe saw the Dead with in the early '90s, and I haven't really talked to any of them.
So why the fuck did they invite you, and why are you going? How do you end up in that situation?
Facebook.
See, I don't do Facebook, so
I got put
mainly for that reason to avoid things like that.
Before we had Penny's like, I'm picking you up. You have to come, and I'm like, all right. Penny's the only person from back then that I have continual contact with since then. Everybody else, it's like years you have no contact with them, and then you run into them at a funeral or something. I'm at that point in my life, you know.
Before
hey, what you been up to? I haven't seen you since the last funeral.
Before all my friends and I had kids, we would get together for Friendsgiving every year, and then we started having kids and doing family shit. But yeah, it was a very common thing. But they were like an active friend group. It wasn't like I hadn't like seen them in 10 years, right? It was like, you know. It was basically we got to the point where we all didn't want to hang out with our families, so we started hanging out with each other, and then we started our own families, and then that kind of went away.
The last time I saw most of these people was at a friend of mine's dad died, so we all went to the funeral, and there was a party afterwards, or whatever they call that. I guess they don't call it a party, but we will be gathering at the deceased house for refreshments after the service. You know, which was cool. I guess her dad was pretty cool. She hated him, but he was pretty cool.
It is the Irish way.
Is that it? He was a smoker. He loved to smoke himself some of the marijuana. But she did not like the fact that we'd go over and hang out with her dad and smoke the marijuana. She was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
She didn't like it.
And we'd all be hanging out with her dad getting high. And then one day I was like, I bet you I can get your sister, her older sister, to go out with me. And she's like, no way. There's no way she'd ever go out with you. And I put in a couple days work. She went to the movies with me. I was like, give me $20.
I did that thing where I zoned out for a minute when Kev started talking, and now I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And I want to like listen and be involved in the conversation, but like it's been a very tangential path, and I'm like, he's lost me. I have no idea what's going on. You know what we could do is pre-show member hang, Wook's Giving live at 9, and then post-show we do the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles Discord hang.
Discord?
Wait, are you talking on Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Do you have something to do Wednesday?
With their family and shit on Thursday.
I see. So you want to watch the movie on Wednesday too?
That's gonna be. I just threw that out. I don't know. Like nothing's decided.
Awfully late for you. I guess not.
I don't have work on Thursday or Friday.
Okay. Well, if you can stay away.
You have to get shopping.
No.
You aren't going to go Black Friday. You aren't going to go camp out at the Walmart.
Nobody does that.
People used to. I used to look forward to the videos of people like beating each other up for like some Chinese garbage from Walmart.
Although I am trying not to use Amazon anymore.
Well,
not for any political or any other reason. I just find their quality sucks and their prices aren't cheap anymore. They used to be cheap and easy, but now it's kind of like shitty quality and not.
Yeah, Walmart's groceries are more expensive than Aldi around my way. And Aldi has better looking cashiers.
This show is so fucking weird. This was the weirdest live stream ever. But we actually now we get our groceries at Target. Believe it or not, they used to be the expensive restaurant. They're cheaper than all the grocers around us for some reason.
Do you get them delivered?
The curbside pickup where I just drive and they bring it out and put it in your truck. It's free, man. You could order it online. You don't have to walk around the store. So weird. This is what weird live stream.
Do you trust them to get your produce?
Yeah, but you know why? Because there's no question asked returns. So if I don't abuse it, but if it's like shitty produce, I just file a return.
This is a brown ass banana.
No, you know what you get? You get the green ass bananas. It's like
takes a week for them to be ready.
Right. They slipped me a plantain, man. I couldn't eat it.
You're like, damn.
All right, I think that's for a week. We should call that. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you for Thanksgiving.
See ya in the Discord.
Yeah, let's go hang out there. Later.
So did we decide what we were doing next week for Thanksgiving? Or in typical fashion, no.
Pre-show, Thanksgiving, movie. Right? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
I want some banana bread muffins on Discord. Give me the recipe.
Yes.
Find the link, people. See us there.
I have no idea what the fuck just happened.
Oops. 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?